Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Beijing, China. So Beijing, China was my very first global trip out of the United States, and I've actually been twice. So my brother lived there for a couple years and he taught English there, and so that's why that was the very first place that I went to outside of the US. The first time I went was in the summer of 2017, and the second time I went was exactly a year later in the summer of 2018. So both times that I went, I stayed with my brother and his roommates, and so I do not have any suggestions on where to stay in Beijing. There are a ton of temples and historical places to visit in Beijing, but I only made it to a few of them because I was there in such a short amount of time, but I was able to do Lama Temple, the Temple of Heaven, and Jingshan Park. While I was there, I ate a lot of fun foods and tried a lot of different things, but I did get violently ill, and that was honestly a horrible experience. It might be TMI, but I just want to warn you guys that first of all, don't drink the water. So I didn't do that, but I don't know, it could have been a number of things that I ate. It could have been like the noodle dishes because they're water-based, or I had wontons that were like in water, could have been that, or could have been the freaking duck tendons I ate. I don't even know what a duck tendon is. Point is that I got really sick. I mean, I'm talking like both ends, and I was pretty sure I was gonna have to go to a hospital because it lasted for like a good 24 hours, and I have never been sick like that in my life. And honestly, I was a little scared, especially being in a foreign country. So getting sick was obviously the worst part of my trip, but we're gonna talk about the best part of my trip now, which was the Great Wall of China. So there are several ways you can go about seeing the Great Wall of China, and the main way that a lot of people do is to take a train kind of like to the main meeting point, I guess, and that part of the wall has been rebuilt, redone, it's safe to walk on, and that's like the most common place to go, and there are a ton of people there. The way that I was shown was an incredible experience, and this is the way I would tell everybody to see the Great Wall of China. So we did like a B&B type thing. We stayed in a home that was hosted by a Chinese family, and they live in the surrounding area of the Great Wall. And so with staying with them, they'll drive you up to like this little hiking point, and you kind of hike like the side of the Great Wall, which took a few hours to get to the point of where that we were going. So the hike was a little long, and it was incredibly humid, and it was really hot, but it was worth every second, especially when you reach the top where you're going and you see like the final resting place of the Great Wall. Like this part is untouched, it hasn't been rebuilt, like the rocks are kind of crumbling and falling, and you can see like the grass growing through everything. And I think honestly that's just the best way to see it. It was just me and the group of friends that I was with and nobody else, and it was just quiet and peaceful, and honestly one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen in my life. Once you reach kind of where you're going, from there you can continue kind of hiking along the Great Wall, or just like sit down and hang out there. And that's kind of what we did. We just hung out for a few hours and just looked at everything and just kind of took it in. And when I got up to the top, like, I'm a crier, I cry, everybody knows that. Like, so I was crying, just like looking out over everything, just kind of in awe. Like, I can't believe I'm standing like on the Great Wall of freaking China, and this is an amazing experience, and I don't think I'll ever have anything come close to that feeling ever again. So when you're done hiking, you hike back down and then make your way back to the host house that you're staying at, and they'll cook you dinner or lunch and then provide breakfast, and they have like drinks and sodas and beer. And it was just a really cool experience doing it that way with such a small group of people, and versus to, you know, where all the tourists are at, getting in the way of all your pictures, and just overall it was just a better experience. So hiking it is the way to go. So overall, my time in China was a pretty good experience. Other than it being really hot and humid and getting like deathly ill, it was a pretty good experience. I'm very thankful that my brother lived there and I had the opportunity to go. Other than that, I'm not sure if I would have made it out there this early in life, and that probably wouldn't have been my first trip out of the country, but I'm so glad that it was. Going from America to China, that was a complete culture shock, and it was a really exciting experience, and I'm glad that that was my first trip out of the United States. So that trip definitely set the foundation for the rest of my life. It was pretty amazing being able to go there and see the Great Wall, and I remember standing up there thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, and I can't believe I'm looking at this, and you know, there's just so much more in the world to see and explore. And so since then, I haven't stopped traveling, and so I'm very thankful for that trip and that first experience out of the United States, because look at the person I am now. I've kind of been everywhere, almost everywhere, not everywhere. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to go to China, then I think you should. Be careful about which months you go to, because you don't want to go when it's extremely hot and humid, or you don't want to go in the dead of winter either, because it can get really cold. So just make sure you plan accordingly. So thank you guys for watching and going ollie around the world with me, and I'll see you in the next country.